Welcome to the latest edition of our A.T. Kearney's Wave of the Future podcast series. I'm Helen Clegg, and I'm excited to bring you our second podcast on innovation management. In this episode, we feature two more finalists from the International IMP3rove Award, who are speakers from Arcelik, a Turkish manufacturer of household appliances, and Fleury, a Brazilian medical and health company. Welcome to Iffet Iyigun Meydanlli, who is Innovation Process and System Development Manager at Arcelik, and she's based in Istanbul. And welcome also to Amanda Curti and Rodolpho Meschgrahw, based at Fleury in Sao Paulo, Brazil. Before we begin our discussion, I'd like to bring in Martin Ruppert, Managing Director of the IMP3rove Academy, to set the scene for our listeners. Martin, welcome to the podcast. Now, how does the International IMP3rove Award work, and why is innovation important for companies today?
Thanks, Helen. Innovation is important since it is key for companies to grow their business. Innovation is the successful commercialization of new ideas. And our award highlights practices how to manage innovation rather than the innovation itself. In 2015, we were proud to have over 100 nominations from 2,000 applicants around the world. To give you some background how it works, our applicants had to submit an extensive questionnaire detailing innovation management practices and were benchmarked with a database of 5,000 companies. In addition, and this is something which was of key importance for us, the companies had to describe the distinctiveness of their innovation management practices. In addition to this, the shortlisted companies were then interviewed to validate results and to provide some further background on their responses. Any participating company then received a detailed assessment report after our analysis. The award ceremony was held in Istanbul during the Turkish Innovation Week in the Congress Center. The high-level jury included members of the World Economic Forum's Executive Committee, the World Intellectual Property Organization, OECD, and we've also been delighted to have MIT and ISO representatives. Overall, I would like to say that the winning companies stand out for their distinctiveness, but also for the performance of their innovation management practices and are an inspiration for other companies around the world. I'm very much looking forward to this discussion with two outstanding participants of our award.
Thanks, Martin. So, Iffet, I'd like to start by asking you about Arcelik's innovation processes. They stand out because they're user-centric. How do you make your global consumers part of your company's innovation process in a very competitive market?
Sure, Helen. First of all, I'd like to explain Arcelik is a home appliance manufacturer, and we are providing our products to more than 120 countries. So we have to understand different needs of people who are living in different geographies. In different geographies, they have different habits in terms of cooking, washing, etc. So we are searching for the right product features for each market to differentiate our products. Currently, we have different touch points in which Arcelik communicates with the customer through call center, technical support teams, after-sales services, retail stores, the website, social media. These are some of them. In addition, we use many common methodologies such as focus groups, ethnographic research, and similar methodologies to identify customer needs. However, I believe what is different in Arcelik, we see the end user as a source of information and innovation, rather than just a listener and buyer of our products. To activate this interaction, we have started to use co-creation techniques. We call this program as design with the customer. It is not just design for the customer or customer-centric design, but design with the customer. So I believe this is the main differentiation point for Arcelik.
Iffet, many companies today fail to innovate. Describe for us Arcelik's approach to innovation and why it works.
Actually, many companies are looking for the breakthroughs to overcome the competition and to have a remarkable market position. Innovation strategy, of course, it is first of all, we remember when we say innovation process, but it needs to be a part of company's DNA. It shouldn't be just a written document. So strategy is our main part. In addition to our innovation strategy, we have some critical components of innovation at Arcelik, actually, which are not unique to any innovative company, but we believe it's a part of our whole culture and continuous improvement processes. Namely, what can I say? First of all, we support innovation from the top. Our Chief Innovation Officer is reporting directly to CEO. Secondly, we have failure-tolerant culture. I believe this is one of another differentiation. And we value diversity, both in teams and also in ideas. We value customer, as I just explained in your previous question. And finally, collaboration culture is one of our great opportunities to create our innovative products and processes as well.
Iffet, I note that Arcelik has 9 brands, such as the Biko brand and the Grundig brand. Is innovation equally important to all of them?
Definitely. I mean, we have a very well-defined long-term planning process, innovation process for each product category and brand. So each brand is allocated for different market segments. So we are planning very carefully, and the contribution of all marketing, R&D, and production groups in this planning session. So for any of our brands or product category, innovation is at the top most important feature.
Thanks, Iffet. I'd like to turn to Fleury now and bring in Amanda and Rodolpho. Fleury's innovation stands out because it's game-based and employees can invest virtual coins into ideas. So how does this work? Can you give us a couple of examples of ideas that Fleury has discovered through this game-based approach? Because the whole concept of sort of gamification in innovation sounds incredibly intriguing.
Sure, and this innovation process that is game-based, it works for the incremental innovation that we have on the company. So every employee has access to this innovation platform. When he joins Fleury, he receives a very small amount of innovation coins that we call iNovice. And this tool is presented during the integration agenda for every employee from corporate to shop floor, so they can insert ideas on their day-to-day work activities in the platform so other people can evaluate it. For example, how they insert idea, they have to follow a set of criteria, such as process improvement, value creation, sustainability, and client experience, filling a small template describing the idea. And the system itself validates the idea, but the key validation comes from other employees that can comment on the idea, improve the idea, and especially invest their coins on this idea. So every employee that invests in an idea, when the idea is approved, they receive the return on their investment. And when the idea is implemented, this return on investment can be converted to prizes, for example, book discount to movie theaters, to more impactful ideas that can go to tablets when you're talking about specific challenge. And Amanda manages this platform in our team. I think she can give us a few examples of ideas that we discovered this way.
There's one idea that gave us a saving around 250,000 reais per year. And it's a really simple idea about the process to buy the shoes of employees' uniform. So before it was by reimbursing, so the employee went to a store, buys and asks for reimbursing, and that is a long process and that it has a high price, okay? And the suggestion was simply to change this for hiring a supplier to provide us the shoes. So it allowed us to reduce bureaucracy and costs. And this is only one example of others that we had, and we also have some challenges that we do at the platform, like for reducing energy costs, and that gave us also huge, great ideas. So it's only one example of how that can work.
Rodolpho, how does the innovation process flow through Fleury? Does innovation have its own separate department, or is it positively encouraged throughout the whole company? And in addition to that, does the company have a chief innovation officer?
So answering first on how the innovation flows. As I mentioned, we have the first line of innovation, which is the incremental ideas, incremental innovation, which is the platform that is game-based. In addition to that, we have an innovation line, which is the research and development, that we do have a specific department for that. It stands in the medical department. And we also have two other innovation lines, which is the service innovation, which regards the client experience and how we serve our physicians and our patients regarding from scheduling the treatment to the unit that they're using and what are the products that they're going to receive, to new business innovations that regards new business models outside our core, leverage our key capabilities such as the medical expertise or capillarity from our units. And regarding the department, we do have the R&D department. We do not have a chief innovation officer, but we have a director that takes a look on strategy and innovation. And me, myself, I'm the innovation and strategy manager. So we do have innovation very close to strategy here at Fleury.
What further aspirations does Fleury have in relation to innovation, and how will these be operationalized?
Sure. For this year, for example, as I mentioned, we have 4 innovation lines here at Fleury, and we have the research and development innovation line very structured because it was structured for the physicians that founded the company, is very close to the university. But the new business one, which is a more corporate innovation, we're still structuring. So our main goal here is to understand how this innovation, this new business model innovation is going to sit on the organization. So if we're going to have a separate company, we're going to have the companies inside, and how the process of evaluating and searching for new business is going to work. Today, we already have a new business, that sits under our department, but we want to expand this and create a sustainable model for new business. And in addition to that, we plan to create a model on monitoring and implementing, increasing our response rate to disruptive technologies. The healthcare sector is changing a lot and it's getting more aggressive and requires us to be more agile. So besides just a traditional research and development process, we also need to take a look on that the research process usually takes 1, 2, 3 years for a single product. We also need to incorporate new technologies much faster in our organization. So our challenge this year is also to take a look in the process, allow us to make decisions much faster now.
Amanda and Rodolpho, do you involve any external partners in Fleury's innovation process? And if so, how do you do this?
We have external partners involved and working with us to bring new products and new business model. And around half of our projects, innovation projects, are developed with partners, external partners. We have a partnership with universities and research centers. And also we are looking for startups to new business opportunities and our suppliers also. We have a platform quite similar to Central de Ideias, that is our Gamebased platform. And we have extended this platform for suppliers so they can bring to us new ideas and they can develop that with us. Also, we have some events happening here that Fleury Award, okay, it's the Innovation Fleury Award, is where we can look for what researchers and actually on graduation or post-graduation, that what they are doing, and we can invest in that and bring them to a partnership also.
Now, as we all know, we're living in an increasingly digital world. I'd like to ask both of you, what is the impact of digital technologies on Arcelik and Fleury's innovation processes and on your company's product innovation? Iffet, what about Arcelik?
As you said, digitalization is affecting our life both in our products and in our innovation processes in our companies as well. We believe digital platforms will provide more real-time data in a broad spectrum. User preferences will be a major part of innovation. So new products and services will be shaped by user involvement, directly or indirectly. And in digital platforms, users can contribute to design contribution. They can give feedback over the social media. And there are hundreds of testers and online testers and idea generators around us who are willing to contribute to our innovation process. So digitalization will help us to increase our speed on innovation because we will be accessing to real-time data on user needs. And another challenge will be for us how to handle all these data.
And Rodolpho, can you speak about Fleury in this respect?
Okay, so digital is a big trend for us. As I mentioned before, the key challenge for us this year is becoming more agile to incorporate these disruptive technologies. And when we talk about disruptive technologies, we're mainly talking about digital. So we're talking about big data and the Internet of Things and how people are increasing their role in their treatment and how much more accessible information is. So we do not have just one structural approach for digital. Digital is happening along all the organizations. For example, the physicians are discussing how they can incorporate digital in their relationship with other physicians, like from a smartphone app to make results available, to platforms where they can take a look in specific exams and navigate the exams like 3D models or virtual reality. On the corporate side, we're taking a look at artificial intelligence, machine learning, and big data. And the communication and the client experience, we're taking a look at technology that's going to the call center and client relationship. So digital is across the organization, and we're cooperating on our day-to-day activities and also in the structure process on how we take a look at the innovation, looking for this most disruptive technologies. But digital today have to be on the shop floor in every decision-making process that we do.
So, last thoughts from both companies as we come to the end of this podcast. As you reflect on your company's participation in the International IMP扫 Award 2015, what would your advice be to other companies considering participating in this year's award? Amanda?
Yeah, our advice is definitely that they should participate at the prize. It was for us a huge opportunity to take some time to reflect on our innovation process, to see what we are doing and what we were not considering and we were not doing. So it was really great to reflect and to benchmark ourselves with other players around the world. So it was really a huge opportunity for us. And I would say for anybody who can participate, that it's a very good opportunity.
And Iffet, what about Arcelik and your comments?
Definitely, I strongly recommend the executives to be a part of this program. Throughout this whole process, companies will have a chance to elaborate their innovation management practices. It is not just about the project competition, but it is about the holistic model on innovation management. So the benchmarking report will give a full picture to executives where they should focus at first. That kind of benchmarking report will help the companies to redesign their innovation management system or at least to improve some of the parts. As we all know, without measurement, improvement cannot happen, and the improved innovation management model provides that measurement.
Finally, Martin, back to you. To wrap up, what advice would you give to companies wanting to implement a robust innovation management process in their organizations?
I very much enjoyed our discussion today. Building on what Iffet said, the first step is a solid understanding of strengths and weaknesses in innovation management. Innovation management itself is actually developing constantly, and companies who are leading today may be lagging behind in 10 years from now. Therefore, we offer the IMP×rove assessment, which is an in-depth innovation management analysis and benchmarking with globally leading innovators. More than 5,000 companies globally have already benefited from this assessment, and our database enables unique comparisons. You can specify the industry, you can specify the geographic region against which you want to compare. The benchmarking allows to determine what specifically is required to become world-class in innovation management and to do the next steps in improving innovation management. If you are interested, please reach out to us to receive further information.
And on that note, I'd like to thank Iffet Iyigun Meydanlli from Arcelik and Amanda Curti and Rodolpho Meschgrahw from Fleury for being my guests today. It's been extremely interesting hearing their insight on innovation. I'd also like to thank Martin Ruppert, Managing Director of IMP×rove Academy, and our production engineer, Tom Klein. Thank you for listening to this edition of The Wave of the Future. If you have any comments on this podcast or have a suggestion for a podcast topic, please share your thoughts via Twitter. Our Twitter handle is @ATKarni. This has been an ATKarni podcast production. Join us again soon for our next Wave of the Future podcast.